I went and I checked out a new video from Archaics. Right, he's talking about the an aspect of the plasma apocalypse thing, and I guess there's going to be an ongoing beef between him and Jay Dreamers, right? And I have my Jay Dreamers interview from a long time ago up there, and I've known nothing about none of it, but at the same time, I'm listening to the basic argument before the personal side of it, which whatever. But that side is a certain point as I am refining myself. I'm not interested. There's many people that are not interested in figuring shit out. There's people interested in looking at stuff on the table and putting a picture together and rolling with that for as long as possible, and being antithetical to new information that says that your imagination of the past or what is being foretold in the publications that you are thinking about what is coming says, right? So like your aspects of what we had known in the past and what the past is trying to tell us about the future is being completely lost in the present. And that concept that Jason argues for, I agree with. Now, the main thing that I'm really bringing all this up for is because in this fucking video, he mentions Robert Phoenix. And I'm like, well, hold on a second. Robert Phoenix is a colleague of mine. I also have a Robert Phoenix. Into all the truth we're out to speak, the authority of things that come. I hope you're not. Are you quoting the book? He will glorify me because of me. I don't know. I'm removing you. I don't want to see it. It looks like you are trouble. I'm getting rid of you. Hide user from channel. Sorry, don't fucking do that. Don't fucking do that. If I know you, don't fucking do that. Only people that I know are gonna sit there and then like quote a thing. You didn't even cite it. Like that sounded like the Bible, but you didn't give me a Bible, whatever. It's not addressing me or my subject matter. Sorry. Hey, what's up, Cosmic? Okay, so he brings up Robert Phoenix. He says something that, like, I'm not paying attention to anything. This is like, and he got Robert Phoenix wrapped up in it or involved in it or something like that, he said. And I'm just like, are there two Robert Phoenixes? Because if you're talking about Robert Phoenix, one of the best fucking Western astrologers that's publishing astrology on the regular basis. And so, like, I double checked, and I don't, like, he doesn't even talk. I don't think he's contacted Jay or collaborated with him. So I'm like, what the fuck is Archaics talking about? Why is he bringing up Robert Phoenix? Is there another Phoenix? Does he not realize there's two Robert Phoenix? He must, because I know that Robert Phoenix is known by similar circles. I know that Archaics has talked to or knows about content people that have come across me, so on and so forth. So I don't know what the hell he's talking about Robert Phoenix. Robert Phoenix doesn't have anything to do with Jay Dreamers. I don't know what he means. If he's gonna start freaking like, I don't know if he starts like saying shit that ain't there, then that's room for, I don't know. I don't listen to enough Archaics. I know he's been at war with bunch of people, and thus far the people he's been at war with, you know what, I don't feel like dealing with that. Thus far the people he's been at war with, I've agreed with, right? I've agreed with the with by and large the warfare. I mean, you know, personally, I think that as much as my impression of Jay Dreamers is that he's a kind person, and that it seems quite out of character, his behavior, as according to Jason, unfortunately, that is tainting the underlying argument that's much more important to anybody else who just doesn't have fucking time, and that's just the merit and that's just the merit that I'm a serious researcher, right? And you look at the sourcing and the substance of an Archaics presentation versus versus the things that are put together, right? And you know, whatever, like, if you're going to be a person doing what Jay does, where you're partially having fun, and you're putting together a lot of stuff that you want to work with your imagination because of the unknown and the room for speculation. The whole point of the speculation is that over time it brings you into stronger clarity. I don't, it ought to be a clean professional debate about context, interpretation of source materials, at least source materials in English, right? Because of course a great deal of our source materials are stuff we have to make sure are proper translations or proper writings about what was read, right? Because somebody will say like, oh, I read this and it said this in that language, and that means this, and here's my dissertation about that statement that got translated, right? You know, making sure that the whole context of the book and the passage that in the chapter the passage was in is all in accord with the argument that you're making, because obviously, depending on our angle, you know, we don't necessarily need everything in a book to find the answer to the deeper question that we're really working on, right? It's like when you're doing your own thing, you have your own goal. And then it's just a matter of making sure that whatever you're doing, you are honoring the trivium and the quadrivium. And that foundation will get you there as proper knowledge and wisdom unfolds and guides you. And that's all that is, right? You know, I'm making a professional choice about these things only. And Jason needs to, I think, explain himself. He's going to drop Robert Phoenix's name, right? Because I don't think that Jason is saying that Robert did something wrong, because his language was not didn't sound like it was implying that, but it was that Robert was in agreement with something that he didn't know was wrong, is what it sounded like he was saying to me. However, you're putting a whole lot of time into fighting liars, allegedly, people that are against the most important of truths. And of course the point of the video was the important truth that there's a plasma apocalypse that you need to be preparing for in your life. and that's I guess not. I don't even know, right? It's so like whatever. It's just like why bother? It's not the same audience. Uh, this kind of attack just I suppose at the end of the day you're trying to rattle the person, and by rattling them they break face, and then that ruins them. That's usually I've seen that kind of thing before, right? You're trying to rattle somebody to break them, right? And if they break them, people will lose respect for him. Oh, look at him, he's getting mad, right? I mean, granted, that doesn't even necessarily work either. Look at my fucking meltdown, for those of you who've been here for like 2-3 months. Look at my fucking meltdown about, like, fucking Sark, Baldy, and these other friends of mine that that were less than honorable, respectful with me, and acted like it's okay in my personal book to be treated like that. And you don't let the little things slide, because the little things tell you that it ain't gonna be worth it because of the big things to come. Yeah, Patrick. Stoicism and meditation they always help. Stoicism is a great mindset because it it keeps your reptile brain under discipline, and of course meditation is giving you time to really integrate your thoughts, as well as to give yourself permission to stop obsessing over perhaps a thought, right? Or to get distractions out of your mind so you can get back into focus with a thought. Christ will help. The Christos is very helpful. I already have the Christos. I'm not here because I don't know what to do with this problem. I'm here to talk about this problem with you guys. I have the Christos. Now, if you're asking me if I have Jesus, fuck no. But I have the Christos. Because you don't know what the Christos is. You just think it's the title of the Lord. You have no idea what the meaning behind the anointed one, or to be an anointed, in that context means. So do not tell me what fucking Christ can do for anybody. You are among the profane. Just don't. All you're doing is trying to cattle herd people that want proper knowledge and wisdom. There are no victims, only fools. And Jesus is the biggest fool I've ever seen. And nothing transubstantiated to your benefit whatsoever, because you do not know the mystery that you are supposed to do for yourself. You don't know what the real cross is. You don't even know what the original fucking plan for the Christ, when they instituted his PSYOP, was supposed to be. And you don't even know it was a PSYOP, because it is your religion, your Roman slave chains. Don't. The devil has a hold of me. There are so many entities in the world. But of course, you see, the monotheist does this. The monotheist has to make a binary out of all metaphysics. Everything is either fractal of God or fractal of the devil. And then they try to make that a big deal despite the fact that the devil is a servant of God. Says so in Job. Go read Job. If the devil's got a hold of me, then that's a good fucking thing. Because good things happened to Job in the end, didn't they? Didn't they? Yeah, they did. So you can go ahead and have a literal Job experience with the devil, if you would like, if that is your path. Do not project that upon me. You see, when a Christian gets like this because they don't know anything about the diversity of man in the heart and soul, and they think that everybody is wrong but them, like this douchebag of a nya. They try to run a curse on you. They try to project their villain onto you, right? Because that's who you really are. You're not one. Like, what effect does that have in converting me? Oh, look at that! Look, you better know that the devil's on you, sir. Pointed. This shirt says "Flesh God Apocalypse." Fuck you. Anyway, you see, trolls come in all shapes and sizes. Right? They come in all shapes and sizes. And I expect more of that kind of troll for a while, because we will be dealing with the rise of a lot of motherfuckers like him who right now are jerking off to the Don, right? Because we were talking about archaics, right? And Jason has predicted that there would be a rise of a Christian Reich, and so there's a great deal of the far right base that has hit some level of mainstream. There's a little bit of good in that because the far right guys also said things like, okay, we're not so, like we've learned a thing or two about cannabis, yada yada yada. Like, there's certain things that they do want to do that I don't like, that they like that's going on now that will continue, and all this shit, right? But if you don't know how to control and command your world, do I support the LGBTQ community? There is no such thing as that community to be supported. There are people going through what they're going through in their minds and in their bodies. And that's all that the fucking is. And that's all that there ever was. And that's all that there ever will be. They are human beings, individual souls. They are not a fucking community. You can meet a fucking gay guy who doesn't know any fucking gay guys that he likes other than his boyfriend. Okay? There's no fucking community. There's no black community either. There's no white community. Right? There's a bunch of people that are trying to make the community a thing, but all of it banks on there being an enemy, right? As soon as they don't have a common enemy, they don't have a community anymore. Because, they're far too interested in getting out into the world and doing a thing, right? None of them can set up a world like the way the Amish do. The Amish have a whole fucking world. A whole fucking unique world of their particular kind of German conservative Christianity. This Luddite-based American faith sort of thing. So, I support human souls that are healing. That's what I support. I support human souls that are putting the work into themselves. That's what I support. Right? I support people that are in alignment with the higher force, which is a much more proper word for the Creator than God. When you understand the proper context of using the word God. So that's all there is to that, right? It's just like, I'm an individualist. That's all I see. I see fucking individual people. Tell me something. Look at fucking groups of people that were around 8 years ago, and look at groups of people that are around today. Are those groups the same fucking thing? You show me what LGBTQ community looked like 8 years ago, and you show me what LGBTQ community looks like now. And you tell me, can you call it a, quote, community? Is it a community just because they all gather from different places to spend one weekend bitching and complaining in politics, then just go home, back to whatever the fuck else that they were doing? Do you think any of these people fucking decided to live in the same neighborhood together after they were done with their fucking bitch rally? Right? This is the problem with the left, too, which, you know, we've already gone through the horror show of the extreme left. Even though it could even be worse than that, I suppose. But there's not enough moralized, you know, they're completely, I've never seen such a half of the fucking nation completely demoralized by their own fucking merit. People worry about a fucking civil war. Who on the left has the fucking energy to fucking secede, let alone to fight back when they're done seceding? Forget it. It's, you know, it's just like, I mean, like, they'll secede on fucking paper, but I guarantee you, the guy driving the truck down the street's gonna fucking not participate. It won't mean anything. A cop's not gonna want to fucking enforce it. They'd have to fucking, I don't know what they'd fucking have to do. But whatever they'd have to do would be so extreme, it would probably work out in my benefit, because it would probably break society down in ways where I don't have to fucking worry about paying taxes or something. Ain't that fucking grand? That's a win-win in my book. Right? Because I'm an anarchist. Hi, Pearl. So, yeah. So, lesbians, the gays, the bis, the trans, the queers, they're whatever. It's whatever to me. It's all whatever. I see a fucking human being with very, very strange aesthetic choices and postures and looks on their face and manners in which they decorate themselves and so on and so forth. And this is their exploration. That's what I fucking see. It's their exploration. And I don't see it as equivalent to what they see it as. I see their fucking exploration of identity as just an extreme version of just what the fuck I'm doing. Why do I have a beard? Why do I not fucking cut my hair? You know, why do I wear my hair fucking like this and not like stylize it like somebody who's trying to look like a woman, right? You know, it's just like, you know, why do I wear the shirts that I do? Why do I talk in the mannerisms that I do? Would it be better if I talk with a lisp? Is this that what everybody wants? If I start effeminizing, would that be sexy? Would that bring the boys to the yard? No. No. That would be so inauthentic. Right? And there's straight men that talk like that, by the way. Right? You've got a serious effing problem with optics. You don't know what this country is. You don't know what this nation's body politic is. And that is why you are losing. It's a improper grasp on the very people that you live among. You, that's a good question, Michael. There's context here. Okay? So, God is an Old Norse, Old Germanic word to refer to a deity. Not the deity, but a deity in the singular, as a good. Guth. Guth. It's that D that's got the TH sound in the Old Norse. It's almost like a thirst sound. And because while Christianity was coming in, our terminology for God had been singularized because we were very much at war with other gods, right? You know, Aesir Vanir Wars was also like, if you were like Odin or Thor, or if you were a sky god worshiper, you often had values that were antithetical and perhaps hostile to land god worshippers, right? So, what has happened here is that you had henotheism running across Europe, right? You know, your cult of Freyr, and you know your god is Freyr, and that's it, right? It's Freyr, and then it's everybody in Freyr's family, right? There's like a semi-pantheon thing going on over there, and and then vice versa, you know, Odin, Frigga, and Gunnar, etc., etc. So, um, the the gods, if you've looked at all the mythology that there is, all mythology that there is, the gods are not eternal beings. They're born at a point, they die at a point, and they become something else after they die. And they kind of were something else before they lived, but they definitely were not that god in continuity of any way that you say it, because the mythos makes it very clear of a birth time or creation time and a death time or an end time for that god, right? In the end of times versus also the beginning of times, which is a continuity of a people's emergence in relationship with knowing an archetypal deity that has always been, just like the way Thor is Indra, is like thunder god, protector of the earth or whatever, has always existed. Thor's not always existed, but later on, that archetype of the protector of the world and thunder god and all that stuff emerged as Thor, right? And there's a lot of antiquity to dig through to understand that emergence, but also you just got to understand the way the human mind works and how the human mind works when it was kind of crawling out of the Ice Age through the Bronze Age. And so there was a more elusive reference to the God of the gods, right? Because why do the gods have all these rules and laws and codes of conduct, and who was enforcing it? Like, why were they just compelled, like, to be that way, as in a way that's framed in the mythos as existential? Like, there'd be some sort of consequence if they weren't doing things a certain way, which is also why they would have issue with their trickster, not god, but their trickster spirit, you know? Which is more like sometimes the trickster spirit is a primordial deity, which is a bit different, because the primordial deities are kind of they're godlike powers, but they're spirits. They're very narrow focused in what they are. They don't have agency as a deity does. Loki doesn't have agency because he's a spirit. This is why you do not treat Loki as a god and worship him or venerate him in any way, fucking shape, or form. Because when you do that, you're calling in the dark gods, because that attracts the corruption version of Loki, which that's very complicated, and it's kind of part of something I'm gonna be forever working out in explaining to people, right? Oh god, oh look at this, I'm getting Muslims too, aren't I getting that? Yeah. You can go the fuck away now. All right, none of that. None of that. You're not here for all that, okay? I don't want to hear any of that shit. I don't want to hear any of that kind of fucking nonsense. Were you in the Lord of the Rings movies? Yes. Yes, I was. I was uncredited, which is why I am not at least holding $1,000 in my pocket right now. Odin is a god. Even the term All-Father for Odin has been that's almost a term that was given to him later, because they were we actually didn't quite have a pantheon system. Like things were much more henotheistic for a while, a long ass time. I think even the Bronze Age we were kind of henotheistic. There was more evidence that individual tribes kind of worshipped like one particular god family. Oh no, I love Odin too. I love Thor. Listen, I love all the gods. All the true gods. They're anti-gods out there as well. The dark ones, right? The imposter gods, imposter sky gods in particular. And imposter underworld gods. Once again, Illvoker, I'm dead ass serious. I'm not equating Loki to the devil, but Loki's not a fucking god. Don't put him on the god list, period. Odin is your trickster god. You've got Odin. You don't need Loki. Odin is all you need on that level. Okay? But anyway, yeah, so the All-Father, they tried to make Odin like Zeus or whatever, where he gave birth to all the other gods, right? So who's Tyr's father? Odin's Tyr's father. There's no fucking evidence for that. That's more or less Snorri Sturluson trying to pantheonize the mythos. The pantheon of the mythos is real, but it's not even close to the same relationship as the Greek pantheon mythos is concerned, or the Roman, or the Egyptian, so on and so forth, right? So All-Father was kind of given to him or turned into this other thing to make him this chief of the gods in council. And although Odin is the king of the deities in Norse mythos and the Germanic mythos, he is not the father of all these deities, right? All of these deities, they come, well, not like some of them are, right? I'll even give that Thor is. I made a video about that, because Odin is a storm god, but he's not the thunder god, right? But thunder only comes from storm clouds. Odin is the god of the storm cloud because he defeated Ymir and made the clouds, the angry clouds, out of his brain. What's going on here? We got more Just Allah. Yeah. All right, let's see. You're gone. You're gone. No Abrahamics here. I'm no longer in the business of trying to bring everybody together. Who I am and what I see moving forward is not for everybody. It could be for anybody. What I do is for anybody, but it's not for everybody. No. Vidhar's good. Vidhar's a lot like Horus. He's the avenging. He's the god of vengeance, right? He's a god that's bringing things. He's a god that's completely focused on righting the wrongs. What's up, fucking Stein? Stein Fox is a good friend of mine. Greyhorn Pagans podcast. Go check it out. I will be on Greyhorn Pagans in a few days, if all goes according to plan, for a conversation about some of the dark forces out there, because we're going to get into, I think it was specifically the Nephilim and the clowns. We're going to be doing the whole interdimensional evil clowns subject thing. I have a thing or two to say about that. Going back to some of my limited knowledge on ancient Sumerian stuff that puts some of this together. So that'll be fun. Maybe all the Muslims should shut up and listen, because maybe they'll learn a thing about where they came from, because they're insulting their ancestors and their ancestors' gods as well. Many of their ancestors' heads rolled in the conversion. Everybody knows that the conversion process for Muslims from their pagan roots was a lot more savage. Tough times. It's the desert world. It's living that way. It's Frank Herbert knew what was up, man. Frank Herbert knew what was up. Well, thank you, Evoker. I mean, one can hope, but not likely. Ha! Right. So, yeah. All right. So, anyway, I don't want to be just sitting here in my car. I've had all my thoughts. I got to have fun with a little bit of a lesson. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Maybe later tonight, if I find the mood, I'll go live again and do a Heidegger read, because we're so close to the end of the book, and I'm itching to be done with it, so I can think about doing something far shorter of a series, whether it's reading something or not. All right, I'll catch you guys later. I'm sorry, Stein. And look at that, I got like 18 people. I had I think 30 people in here for a minute. A little bit earlier too. Do I like rock? Do I go look up this band. Go look up this band. That's what I like. Flesh God Apocalypse. My gods are weak. That may be true, but I've got the hide user button. Bye. All right. Okay, I'll catch you guys later.